Can you just explain it like I'm 5?
The simple definition of the AK becoming the gun of the people goes back to primarily right at the end of the Civil War. Or sorry, not Civil War, the Cold War. What am I trying to say
I
here?
was like, dang.
No, with the Cold War, uh, basically Russia was broke, and so they sold their rifles to anybody that would pay money for them.
And licensing to let other people make the rifle as well.
So
Yep.
basically, the Russians made this thing.
Mhm.
Cold War ends,
Yep.
and they've got stockpiles
Mhm.
of these guns. So they allow, which it actually exists, you know, blacklist arms dealers and all this type of stuff to buy these things and then flood them out to smaller
Yes.
groups of people.
Yeah, if you've seen Lord of War with Nick Cage, that movie is based on a true story, and that's really how the AK was proliferated to the entire world. Is that they had millions of these things laying around doing nothing.
And what's so genius about the design? Like, why is this thing still around?
At this point, because it was proliferated so much, that's the biggest reason. Because we've moved past it somewhat in reliability, and I'm sure some of your listeners and viewers might want to argue with me about that, but there's a lot of data that suggests it's not truly as reliable as people think. With that being said, though, the manufacturing process for the AK-47 compared to an AR-15 is very crude. You don't need CNC machines to make one of these. All you need is essentially a hydraulic press. Obviously, the barrels has to be machined, but just about everything else on here is stamped and bent into
So
place.
it's
with
the
rivets.
optimal rifle for high production.
Yes.
I mean, just
Yeah.
totally optimized for high production.
It's also what you might call it has big dumb controls. Okay. So the selector switch / safety is right here. Okay. It's just this giant lever that you can't really miss. Some of them even come out real big so that you can't miss it. The charging handle is here. It's really big. It's also part of the bolt.
And what is a charging handle?
Yeah, good. The charging handle is what takes when a weapon is ready to fire. It's called being in battery. Okay, that means that the bolt is forward, the cartridge is in place, the trigger's cocked, you could say, and when you pull the trigger, it will go bang. It then cycles. It's very similar to the way the pistol did. Just it looks a little different. It comes out, extracts the round just like the pistol, shoves a new round in, and we're in battery again. Okay. That's the term. That's the term. But now, so when the bolt's being forward, that's what signifies if it's fully forward that the gun is ready to fire. If it was like jammed with mud and back a little bit like this, then we're not in battery and we're not ready to fire. You have to either force it forward or open it up, clean it out, or whatever. The AK, as Greg was saying, has some mythology, I don't know, of just never jamming, never, and that's not really true. You do have to take care of it. They will fire with a lot more abuse than the AR platform will, but they're not invincible.
I'd heard once that the reason why the AK was proliferated so well is because somebody with next to no education could literally pick this gun up and figure out how to fire it without any education on it.
That's what I meant by big dumb controls. It's like, here's the mag release. It's clear what it does. It's right next to the magazine. The AR-15s is it's next to the magazine, but it's not. It's a little button. The selector switch is big. The charging handle is big. You could have big Soviet gloves on and still run this rifle pretty easily. Where this rifle, the AR-15, would be a little bit more difficult to run.
Can you just explain it like I'm 5?